So the name of this video is Impact, and that's pretty appropriate. Number one, because, well, my last jet ski and we split ways a bit earlier than planned because of an impact, and it left quite the impact on me. So the year was 2020, COVID, and so I had already jet skied from Omaha to St. Louis with my oldest son, and wanted to accomplish the same feat with my younger son, youngest, Adam. And so we decided we were going to do it all in one trip. So we left Omaha and we were headed for St. Louis, just on the two of us on one ski. And let's see, in the second day, it was down around Kansas City. We hit a wing dam, and just wanted to share that experience and what lessons I learned. I know if this video gains traction, there'll certainly be some haters out there that will probably rip into me a little bit for not being more cautious, but it certainly taught me a few lessons as well, and I think it's a story worth sharing. So by and large, the Missouri River is very easy to navigate. It's very predictable in terms of the flow of the water. Water obeys all of the laws of physics, right? Gravity and essentially momentum are in play. And so the water, the river channel, will want to swing from outer bend to outer bend. And just to pull up some charts and kind of show you what that looks like. This is just a section of the Missouri where as the water is flowing downstream, you can see that the channel marking is on the outer bend. The solid blue line there is some rock riprap, essentially, to protect the bank. And as the river transitions, you just kind of follow that line, that natural line, to the next outer bank. And between that natural, what does the water want to do type of a flow, and also with the various day markers that are on the banks where you can see, either if there's buoys in the water or the day markers on the sides here, you can easily see most of the time where the channel is. So unfortunately, in 2020, we were coming off of a heavy flood year the year before. And so in 2019, the Missouri River was heavily flooded, and the Army Corps of Engineers had gone through and removed most of the red and buoy navigational cans that are in the water, the buoys that are in the water. And most of those had not been redeployed yet when I did this trip in 2020. I still had the outside, the fixed signs on the banks, but the ones in the water were not deployed yet. And the river was high. The dams were all, upstream dams were still full. They were releasing plenty of water, even in the summer when we did this trip. And so those were a couple of things that were working against me. So I thought I'd walk you through some of the video here of what happened that day and the impact that it left on me, kind of the lessons learned. So as we go through the video, on these trips, I usually have my GoPro running. Even on all the Corvette trips, I had a GoPro running the whole time. But in this case, I had it mounted on a flagpole. So you can see that that's the view there from the GoPro. And here we're going along. This is just as heading downstream. And so this is the last boat ramp there on the right out of Kansas City. And so water wants to flow, from outer bank to outer bank. And so here you can see I'm making the transition out over to the outer bank. Now, the navigational aid on the left side there was hard to see, but there it is. It just went out of view. It was a little red red sign there. And here I'm going along and thinking that the Outer Bank have got plenty of room to navigate. But in this case, the bank must have blown out years ago because the Army Corps of Engineer had established a rock wall to help guide the channel to the other bank earlier than I was expecting. And so right here, I should have seen the little disturbance in the water in a line, and you can kind of see it. So here's what the Corps of Engineer maps look like. The navigational charts as I'm going from left to right, and this was the view. So here's that hidden wing dam, and the next navigational marker, at least on shore, is about a mile away, and I couldn't see it. So here we are, we're moving along, and unbeknownst to me, we're about ready to cross a rock wall. And right here, we hit. And it was quite the impact. We stayed on the ski and I was sitting at the time, and it about got me off the ski. And luckily Adam, went into my backside, and we were both able to stay on the ski. And after the initial shock, it was like, oh boy, what just happened? What did we hit? And at first I didn't know if it was a tree stump or what it was. It took me a little bit to kind of get my bearings of what just happened here, what's going on. And so there it was at full speed. And from here on, then we had to navigate our way. We're now on the wrong side. We're not in the channel anymore, right? We are essentially in the shallows, and we need to get on the other side of that rock wall. And you can see the shoreline was not very friendly, so I'm trying to make my way out over back into the channel so that I don't hit any more shallows. I'm standing up looking for a good place to essentially cross back over that wall. The ski was running fine, no gaping holes, anything like that. And so we were able to essentially find a gap in that rock wall, or at least a portion where the water was deep enough for the ski to get over. And about a mile or so downshore, there you can see the rock wall is much more visible. It was taller in those sections, really kind of sticking out in the middle of the river at that point. So we were able to take the ski on downriver and pulled off onto the sand, and we ended up waiting out for about an hour, just kind of catch our wherewithal, what just happened, everything okay. Took the opportunity to just kind of take a break, get out of the sun, and inspected the ski. There was no water coming in. I could not roll the ski. The ski was very heavy. I couldn't roll it to inspect the bottom of it. I did try to put my hand underneath the ski and could not feel anything, but I couldn't do a proper inspection. So we waited, and I just used time as a way to gauge, okay, is there a hole, or is what's going to happen now? And so after an hour, it's no water. And so it's like, okay, we're going to keep going, because where we weren't at a boat ramp, we weren't anywhere that was a place that, I could go on shore to a house or anything like that. It was just out in the middle of nowhere. So thinking that we could keep on going, and we did for that whole day. We kept going, and all the way to St. Charles. So basically another 200 miles that we had traveled. It was St. Charles, pretty close to St. Louis, and my wife was driving down to meet us. And so she was a little bit ahead of us as far as like trying to meet at the same time at the rendezvous point at the Arch there in St. Louis. And so we kicked up our speed from about 28 mile an hour, what my cruising speed was, up to about 33, 34, 35 mile an hour. And that little speed difference was all it took for the scrape that had happened on the bottom of the ski to start peeling it away. And we started taking on water. Unbeknownst to me at the time, the ski started to porpoise, and I was like, what's going on here? Because this is 2 full days later. And then the engine started to cut out, and I'll kind of walk you through that video too. All right, so here you can see I am, we're on the ski. You can see how it's porpoising. It's essentially, I didn't know it at the time, but there was already quite a bit of water in the ski. And so I'm looking at my gauges because the motor was starting to cut out a little bit. And so here I'm wondering what's going on. I'm trying to figure it out. And so it's like, all right, something's not right. We need to get to shore. Now I look back and there's steam, smoke, but it was steam coming out of the back because the water was surrounding the engine, and essentially we were taking on quite a bit of water. So here I'm trying to make my way to the closest bank, trying to keep it, above idle, and trying to get to shore in a safe manner. We're heading into the shallows, and yes, there's more wing dams and rocks and things to worry about. The ski was running. You can kind of hear the engine a little bit there, but as we were making our way over, it's like, I hope it keeps on running. I hope it makes it to shore without cutting out altogether. And so Adam, you can see here, is pretty concerned. He knows I'm concerned. I'm asking him to get ready, because once we get to shore, the current was moving kind of quick, and you can kind of see here there is another rock dam just coming up. So I'm aiming for the dirt bank there, and I'm coming in kind of hot, but I wanted to, in order to get to shore before that next rock dam over there, the wing dam. So bring it over and jump up to shore here and grab the ski, asking Adam, go ahead and get off, bud. And so now the water in the footwells, that's just water that the footwells of the ski are scooped, and so it's not really taken on that much water yet, but over the next period of time, it does. It actually kind of sinks to the back end. Ended up filling up most of the engine compartment. If I was not on shore, I'm sure it would have. Jet skis don't fully sink usually. There's styrofoam, and then the fuel tank keeps them buoyant, but it certainly wouldn't have been a situation that I wanted to be in. So the next hour or two was spent trying to figure out what to do, and we ended up emptying everything off the jet ski. Luckily, the neighbors or the landowners that owned the farm, on that side of the river, on that bank, were very friendly, very helpful. They allowed us to be able to get our truck and trailer, or at least the Jeep, over to that bank. We were able to unload all of the equipment, all the supplies up the bank, kind of threw it, tossed it up the bank. And then I had a choice. Do I call for a tow, or what do I do? And so that farmer, he helped me kind of bail the water out of the engine compartment. We let it sit without any supplies on it, and there was not water coming in. So the scrape on the bottom of the ski was significant, but it was there was still material there to prevent it from coming in. So the previous boat ramp was about 3 to 4 miles up river, and so I made the choice to go ahead and make a run for it. Everything was off the ski except for me and 2 life jackets and my phone, which was put in some waterproof cases, and made the run back up to that boat ramp. And I'm very fortunate because by the time I had reached that boat ramp, there was already the jet ski was already about a fifth full of water. So very fortunate, huge learning experience for me in so many ways. But that's the story of impact.
All right, well, that's the front of the ski, and that's the start of the damage here. And that might look bad, and that might look worse, but it keeps getting worse. I can not puncture it with my finger, but it gives back here too, and it goes all the way back.
There's the back. And water would be flowing this way. Getting caught right there. Real easy. That's just, I'm not putting a lot of pressure. I'd say maybe 15 pounds of pressure, maybe 20.